Hey guys, what's up? It's Erica. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with Maddie and Mia, and we are three women in the construction industry, and we're going to talk about our construction experiences. It's definitely not a super common thing to be women in the industry. I thought it'd be fun to have these two wonderful ladies here with me today discussing about our experiences. If you guys maybe just want to give like a brief intro on how you guys maybe got into the industry.
Erica's my sister. So Erica studied construction management at Cal Poly. I originally went to Cal Poly and was studying nutrition. And then I saw her experience working in construction with her internships. And I really saw a lot of opportunity there for her for like future careers. And then also financially, the construction industry does have a lot of money. And if that's something that's important for you while choosing your career, I know for a lot of people that can be an incentive to kind of make sure you're doing something that you're passionate about, but also will support the lifestyle you want to live. I also saw that there was no real need or advantage to go to a graduate school program or anything like that. And that was something I really wanted to stay away from. That was going to be an issue if I continued on my path as a nutrition major. Again, just because I didn't want to necessarily be investing more into my education and have the opportunity cost away from making money right out of college. I saw Erica's opportunity, and Cal Poly has an amazing construction management program. Everyone in that program is just really passionate about it and speaks really highly about it. So that's kind of what got me to make the switch, and then I ended up graduating as a construction management major from Cal Poly.
I started out as a mechanical engineering major in college and ended up switching over to civil engineering because I thought I wanted to be a structural engineer and design buildings and everything. When I was taking some of my technical elective classes, I kind of realized that I didn't want to be on the design side, but I wanted to be like more involved in the actual building process. So I did an internship with a general contractor in Columbus, Ohio, and I just really enjoyed like bringing something new to the community and like seeing the impact on like the end user of the building or just like everyone in the city that maybe was going to be driving past it.
Do you think it was easier to find a job to go into like the general construction industry versus like an engineering role?
Yeah, I feel like with engineering, I didn't really know many companies or like what exactly they did. I did briefly look into being like a transportation civil engineer and like designing roadways and stuff.
I was a construction management major from the very beginning of starting at Cal Poly, but honestly, I had only done that major because Cal Poly is like a harder school to get into. I did not have the most amazing grades in high school, and so somebody said like, hey, just apply for this major. I knew that I loved like architecture and that type of stuff. The architecture program is really hard to get into, and honestly I would not want to go down that path just because being an architect I think nowadays is so much of just being like a code enforcer or like, you know, just making plans to do codes. It's really not that much of a creative major, I think, when it actually comes to having a job, unless you're very talented. Basically kind of worked out because it was very easy. Like an internship fell into my lap, and I definitely think it just kind of worked out, and I realized like I can make a lot of money. People in this industry seem very like passionate or happy. Everyone was like, that's an amazing major, like there's so many paths for you. I did think about switching majors a few times, but overall I am happy that I have it. When I've talked to other people who have gone to like UC schools, they have mentioned who had kind of more like psychology majors or things like that, how they wish they had more hard skills and that it would have been a little bit easier to translate their major into a job. And so I'm very happy that it did lead to a very obvious path, because it's very confusing when you graduate college trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. It gives you something to work off of, I would say.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people that get into construction management originally think that they want to do design, whether it's like what Mia was doing like more technical design or architectural design, and then a lot of people end up going into the project management route on the construction side for a lot of different reasons. Part of it's opportunity and money. Once again, there are a lot of, especially general contractors and subcontractors, especially when the business is booming, I would say it's pretty easy to get a job.
For sure.
And it is a high paying role typically when compared to working at an architectural firm or like working in any other like mechanical, electrical, or civil engineering firm as well. Similar to like what both the other girls have said, a lot of people think design, you're gonna have a lot more creativity than you really do. And sometimes being on site and actually watching the building go up and brainstorming ideas in the field on how to make things work kind of allows you to have a little bit more creativity or just like hands-on experience than you really do sitting behind a desk at a design firm.
Experiences of being like a woman, if you feel like you're treated differently.
So me and I both work for the same construction company. It's a really large general contractor across the nation, and we're both in California in the Bay Area. And we actually have a lot of women at our company. Both of our managers were women, and every manager I've had since working at this company has been a female. So I would say we actually are really lucky because we have a pretty unique experience.
Yeah, I definitely agree. When I interned back in college, the company I interned for like didn't have as much diversity, and I realized that I really enjoyed having a female like intern leader, but seeing that she was one of two, maybe three that was actually on the operations side of construction kind of made me not want to work for that company. So that's like what I looked for when I went to find my job after school too.
Yeah, I would definitely say like a similar experience to Mia. I did have one internship in particular where I was the only female on the entire site on like this huge project, and it was much more difficult than I think I had expected it to be, because being at Cal Poly and CM classes, I was often one of two girls in the classes, but I never thought it was an issue. I always thought it was really fun because I had a lot of friends in the classes and all of that. And then when I did start interning, like being out in the field, especially when you're young as an intern, is really hard, I think, sometimes to be the only female out there.
I think also being young and a woman is hard.
Yeah, so I think if it's something that you're interested in, finding a place, a company to work for where you really feel safe and supported is just so important. And I also have never been afraid like to speak up if there was a situation that made me feel uncomfortable, because I have such amazing mentors, and I think that's kind of what could be a make or break being a female in a male dominated industry.
Recently I was on a team that was my first team where I was on a project and I was the only female out there, and they were also older men too, so I think the age and them being men and just like 20 plus years older than I am, it was a very isolating time where I just felt like there was nobody out there that could kind of like understand my experience. I've recently realized too, I think at the beginning I would kind of discount myself and just be like, oh yeah, if people don't listen to me, like I don't really know that much, I'm new, I don't, you know, if somebody doesn't listen, that's fine. But I have noticed more and more there are sometimes where I'm like, nobody just heard that I said something, and it, I guess, has started to feel a little bit more obvious sometimes that I think sometimes certain men can kind of ignore you or discount what you have to say, or even like a question that you have.
Going off of what you said, Erica, that's important to know is the industry is changing in a lot of ways where there are more people getting into construction that went to college and studied something like civil engineering or construction management or something in that field, and then go directly into the industry out of college and never had what they call like a bags on experience. And certain people in the industry will discredit you, I think, whether you're male or female, because back in the day, most people got into it from like being in the trades and actually doing physical work, which obviously you learn so much if you're actually the one putting work in place every single day. Definitely there can be a stigma around some of the younger people coming on that just came right out of college and have never really like done time putting work in place.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, yeah, what you learn in school doesn't really always translate to like what actually happens out in the field. You will most likely be working in a trailer if you are on a job site. There are some times where there's maybe like a random building that might be on the site that for some reason didn't get demoed, and you might be able to work at it, and that is like the dream, because working in a trailer is not really ideal. They both work where like they've had bathrooms attached to their trailers. I haven't worked in one like that. We have porta potties, which is not the most fun thing, but we do have like a pink porta potty for the women, and there's like a lock on it, so it's not as gross, I guess, as if everyone was using it.
And I would say that's like, yeah, not probably what I had in my brain as what my life would be.
Well, I was working for a while where we had to get rid of our trailer and move inside the building, but our building wasn't finished. Like, we didn't have heat, air.
Oh,
and
yeah.
granted, like, it was fine. We were in like a generally like neutral temperature area, so it was okay. I mean, I had a little heater at my desk, but it didn't get cleaned, and so we were literally sitting in this room that had like thick layers of dust. It didn't really bother me, but my boss was like, this is outrageous. And it's just stuff like that where ever really wear like cute clothes to work, because they would just get gross. A lot of times you're walking through a job site where there's like a lot of dirt. I feel dirty a lot of the time, and I don't like that.
Most definitely. And even just like with the trailer conditions, it's not potable water. What that means is it's not like certified for drinking water. So the water, like when I did have a trailer bathroom, the water I would wash my hands with was bright yellow.
But that's why we have to use like disposable plates and silverware and everything, which is such a waste too, because there's no potable water.
That is true. That was one of the things that shocked me when I first like joined the industry, is there is a lot of waste, and I guess part of it is because you're in these like temporary places where it's hard to have like a real setup.
Another thing on that note is like if you have a migraine disorder, I would not recommend being anywhere near a construction site, because we're working and you're hearing
Yes, they will test every alarm in the building as you're working there.
All the equipment has to have backup alarms, so whenever anyone's moving, like you just hear like crashing and
It's a very loud,
alarms.
yeah. I would say if you're sensitive to noise, or if you feel like that you need like quiet to work, it's not a job where you're gonna have like a quiet space.
There are
Obviously,
pros and cons to everything.
exactly, and sometimes like it is a bit more casual of an industry, and it can be like fun to be able to joke around with your coworkers
And yeah, it's a pretty fun environment usually,
Yeah.
and there's a lot going on and you don't get bored. There are a lot of pros as well. These are just some of the things I think. Sometimes the pros are more like what come to mind when people get into the industry, and you might like not even take into account like the restroom situation.
General cleanliness of the trailer.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like snacks at your job site or anything?
No food.
Yeah, we have snacks too, and coffee.
No coffee.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys probably had it in your budget, but
The coffee pot that I never clean out because we have non-potable water. So I just like pour the boiling hot water from like the water jug.
Mia's trailer is actually huge. Like they have like a real kitchen.
It's a double
Oh.
double wide.
okay.
So instead of it being like just one trailer, they like sandwich two widthwise.
Oh.
So like in the back is our kitchen area, and we have 4 offices, and then we all meet in the middle for meetings.
And I would say like just temperature wise, even when you are in a trailer, like you will have heat and air, but it's not the same as being in like
Oh.
a building. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
insulation. It's
And
just,
we're in like a climate that doesn't even
yeah.
fluctuate.
Yeah,
but
exactly, yeah.
You still always need to have a jacket on.
Yeah, like every morning I'm pretty cold, but
And a lot of people just bring personal space heaters to put under their desk.
Sometimes you can't have your own personal heater because it'll trip the electrical and then make everyone lose power.
yeah, that's something like the power, you're always going to be probably on like a temp power, so that can sometimes be spotty. My job has always had a printer, but I feel like, I don't know if you have a printer, but I know Maddie hasn't
We
always
do.
had a printer.
Yeah.
Having a printer is definitely very nice, but just that like technological stuff of like
Oh,
you'll have
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi being set up, and like that can always kind of be a little bit spotty.
Or the Wi-Fi might just not work.
It just like makes you so much less efficient too.
Oh,
yes.
It's so frustrating sometimes. I like that when you go to like walk the job site, you can get some steps in and exercise.
Oh,
Like,
that's a
that's
great
true.
point. Oh, another thing is it is an industry where people take a lot of pride in their work. It is an amazing feeling to drive past a building and know that you've like had a part in making that happen.
If you guys are following my channel, Maddie and I recently purchased a house that we're fixing up, and it has definitely like allowed us, I guess, more knowledge on this house, more contacts,
Life skills.
yeah, and skills, I think, to help us through the construction of this project.
I think something that's kind of unique about us all being in the construction industry is, at least where all of the places that we work, we have to be on site every single day, typically by 7 a.m. Socially, sometimes it can be difficult if, like, pretty much all my other friends that aren't in the industry work very flexible hours and usually all remote or very hybrid. So that can be something that can make some of your relationships with people that aren't in the industry a bit more challenging. And I do really notice that people in the industry do hang out a lot with each other, like because you're on that same schedule, we all go to bed early and wake up early.
Yeah, let us know, I guess, if you have any more questions. Thank you, Maddie and Mia, for being in this video. I'm sure the viewers loved it.
Comment down below if you think Mia should be featured in more videos.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.
Bye.